The next step in this build is we need to get a winch assembly on here. So I have this Badlands 2000 winch that we ended up finding in a junk pile a few years ago. It seems to work okay. It's not as strong as it used to be, but it'll lift a plow. We've also got a controller assembly that we ordered off of Amazon. I'll make sure I post a link for that down below. I've used them on several projects at this point, and they're a good little replacement controller for these 2,000-pound winches. We've also got some random wiring that we pulled out of our cable pile in the back. We've got a leftover piece from a winch install from years ago. And we've got a couple of starter cables off of lawn tractors. Dug into the metal pile, and we found this piece that came out of a snowmobile pallet of some sort or something like that, a tractor implement pallet. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out that we have this plow gear that we need to be able to have on the front that slides in, which means this winch assembly needs to actually sit about yay tall off of this. So I'm going to unbolt it from this weird little towing thing that it's mounted to. And then we're going to make a floating platform for it right here. Everybody always wants to know what welder I'm using. So today is my classic Hobart 140. Ancient, but still working. All I've done is just made a box here. I've got the front, so it's boxed in for strength. I've got the back side here, so it comes down and it hits on the beam underneath, so I can weld it in there. And if I need to, or I think I have extra time, I will weld a triangle in right in here to be able to tie this back further in. The plow gear is held by this weight primarily, and this is going to be a temporary setup. Eventually I will put a 3,000 plus winch on this when it's a mud mower. We just need 2,000 pounds worth of get the plow season done. There we go. We got our nice little bench area set up over here for our hitbox stuff. This built-in air compressor thing is just absolutely amazing. Anyways, back over here, we blew a couple of holes through right there with the hitbox so that now we can line this up. And I'm going to weld this rear over here, and I'm going to weld this tab right here, and I'm going to weld this tab right here, because like I said, this is just temporary. We're just throwing it on in order to be able to make this thing go bzz, bzz, up and down for the winter. It's funny as a YouTuber that I actually make quite a bit of my income from you guys buying products through my links. One of my biggest pet peeves, though, because of that, is YouTubers that try to get people to buy stuff they really don't need. Like hydraulic wire crimpers, for example. I don't understand why so much of YouTube is obsessed with hydraulic wire crimpers when most people don't need them. They just need a basic pair like this pair. And, of course, the last one, I'm not going to be able to see the right angle because I'm trying to get you guys into the picture. Is that on? Yes, it is. There. Wires done. Now we can test things. Off camera, I need to pull that all out and spool it back up. But I wanted to show you guys right now, we're all hooked up. And I've run into an issue with these cheaper controllers before, and I'm betting this one will do it too, but we're going to do it in video so that you guys see it. So I've got the positive side of the winch connected to the positive, negative connected to M negative, positive B to the battery, negative B to the battery, and we've got our controller right here. So if we hit out, Uh-oh. In. Uh-oh. I actually was expecting this. And it does not seem to be universal, the polarity or direction that these winch motors are set up for. So what we now need to do is on these two here that are going to the winch, we need to just simply swap them. The other thing I wanted to point out is that in most of the cheaper controller directions, these exist in the pictures, and you basically cannot get these backwards. It is what it is. But what's funny is this red wire never seems to exist. This red wire goes to your battery positive side. This is your power to your AB-ish type of switch. Now, let's say that you had one of these and it burnt out and you needed a controller as fast as possible to get this back up and running. What you do is you get two push buttons and you wire the inner pins of the two push buttons to both go to this positive. You wire the outer pins of the two push buttons to go to either of these. And that will give you what this essentially does. This rocker basically hits a push button here and a push button here. They share the same inner positive, and the outers go to these two wires here. There we are, all set up and working. I've got that welded in right where the pivot is. Winch is all set up. We've got down, we've got up, down, and up, and right in underneath here, we've got the pivot bar, so we pull up on that, and we kick that sideways, and we've got the pivot, and we pull up on it again to move that, and there we go. All set, ready to go. Now, I get people all the time who decide to comment that if they had my kind of money or they were a YouTuber, they could do this stuff. Please, if you can't afford $25 for the controller, I'm sorry, but that's literally all that I have into this plow setup. This was free. The winch was free. The metal was free. The $25 controller is the only thing that I bought, and that was just because I happened to like that particular one. I've actually ended up with several of the push-button, side-to-side, whatever controllers for free over the years out of the junkyard, and once you clean them up, they work perfectly fine. Stop making excuses, get out in the garage, throw something together, grind on it, weld on it, make anything, and make it your own. Have fun. Hope this was helpful.